Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Insurrection, obstruction, indictments, civilly liable for sexual abuse. The one man responsible for all that could be sitting in a prison cell on election day and still be elected commander-in-chief for these United States. That man is beholden to Putin, weakened NATO the last time around, and is currently tying himself to wealthy Saudi oil money. He enriched himself when government stayed at his properties. He campaigned on wanting to use government to go after his political rivals and wants to expand executive power. If Donald Trump is reelected, our nation is lost. So let's roll up our sleeves, get to work, and tell the MAGA folks no more before it's too late. It's area code 914-803-4131. That is 914-803-4131. You can also join us live in our chat rooms. Not the Blog Talk Radio chat room. We are not monitoring that one. But you can come to liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel, and join us in there. You can also join us at twitch.tv/liberaldanradio in that chat room as well. To support the show, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Twitch channel, like the video, share videos, like and comment on other videos, all that good stuff. You can become a Liberal Danimal for as little as $2 a month by becoming a subscriber on YouTube, or member on YouTube. A subscriber on Twitch can be done for free if you are an Amazon Prime member. It doesn't cost you anything. Otherwise, you can just pay the normal price. You can gift memberships and subscriptions on both platforms. You can buy super chat, super stickers on one. You can buy bits on the other. You can be a patron at patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way gets you there. You can buy me a cider. Go to liberaldan.com, click the buy me a cider button, or go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio, and you can get a nice little message up on the chat as it happens, or Venmo at Liberal Dan. Just do friends and family. You're not buying anything, so no reason to say that you're buying anything, because you're not. So anyway, you can also, in the show description on YouTube, there is also the link to the game that I'm currently being sponsored at with nerdydan.com. Downloading and installing the game on your PC automatically gets me $4. That's all I have to do. Download it, install the game. $4. First 20 people to do it. Get to level 7 and 11. You get even more. The first 20 people to buy the $4.99 pack also gets me another $25. That's as simple as that. If you don't play games, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. But if you do play games, it's a fun little game. I was able to get to level 11 really quickly. So it is what it is. Sorry, wait, that's Donald's line. I hate to just trample all over Donald Trump.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Hey, it's Seha. Good to see you, Seha. Lots of people showing up in the chat. We got Elarasia, Aaron, Elizabeth, Suzanne, Jeff, Adlo. I did say Elizabeth already. Jolie, Carrie C. I think I said Chad already. I think I said Elarasia already. All coming in bright and early. Early bird gets the worm, although the second mouse gets the cheese. So, topic of today's show. We're not going to go too terribly long today. I hope not, at least. Well, we might. You never know. I say that, and then sometimes I go 3 hours because I get stuck up on a conversation because, I like to talk. Hence, I have a podcast. But we'll be talking about a little bit more about the Biden debate stumble and why we can't let it be the butt her emails moment of the 2024 elections, because that's my worry. And I'm sure other people are worrying about that as well. I am absolutely 100% concerned that people are going to be like, oh, we can't, we're going to, let ourselves just be distracted by this one thing. And then we're going to let Donald Trump get into office and screw everything up. And then we're going to have funny little memes that go, but his debate performance, I don't know if this time it'll be in a sign that's, where it's almost underwater, or maybe this time it'll be on a burning building or something like that. But his debate performance, or but his stutter, or something like that. But his age, even though Donald Trump is also old and pretty much the same age. I mean, the difference between their ages is nothing. And Trump also has, issues. You want to talk about any issues you've noticed with Biden that pretty much are basically his stutter. Trump, I don't know if he has diagnosed anything, but he had several examples of word salad in that debate. And everybody wants to just give him a pass. It's ridiculous. But I'm sorry, Alarasia, that you're having a heartache. Lots of love from me and the rest of the Liberal Dan family for you and yours. But yeah, we cannot let this happen. I mean, there's all sorts of different things that are going. We'll talk about that in a bit. I just do want to first of all, remind everybody, got 14 viewers, 12 likes. Remember to smash that like button, and then the patriarchy. It's very important to chat away. Hey, Scott, thank you very much for checking over from Tommy's feed. Appreciate you. Love Tommy's feed. I don't know how much I'll get to check out today, because one of the reasons I kind of want to have a shorter show today, I am going to be doing one unraveling toxic masculinity response today, because I found one and oh my god, it's ridiculous. Tommy is Dude, the Dude podcast, the DOODE channel. So it's another one of the channels. I mean, he's a TikToker. I think he started trying to build move his TikTok audience over to YouTube, just to make sure that if TikTok goes away, that he still has an audience going forward. He skyrocketed past me, well beyond me. I mean, I think he does stream more often than me, which is, understandably why he probably has more of an audience than I do, which is fine. I don't begrudge people's success. Everybody should have whatever success that they can get, and it's cool. But yeah, I support him. He has good content. He debates conservatives live from even the crazy ones over from TikTok. That's pretty much what he does. He streams on TikTok, and he debates the conservatives on there, and then he streams it over to YouTube and other platforms. And he gets a lot of the low of the low. I mean, granted, I've had some bad ones too, but he gets some really bad ones as well. So so let's see what else is going on. But yeah, but one of the reasons I do want to have to make kind of this show a shorter one than maybe a shorter one than normal is simply because of the fact that we've got today. I have plans on Friday with my youngest son. I have another thing to do on Saturday, and tomorrow's the 4th. And sometime between now and Sunday morning, we have to pack for the cruise, because we're going on the anniversary cruise next week, because it's my anniversary. Got married on 7/7/7, so it's 17 years this Sunday that I've been married. So if I ever forget when I got married, just send me to the home, because it's very hard to forget 7/7/7. And so we'll be leaving off to the Eastern Caribbean. Fortunately, we're avoiding Beryl. Thoughts to all the people who are having to deal with Hurricane Beryl today and this week. It's, living in New Orleans, we know what's going on with that, and we can sympathize and empathize with everybody who's having to deal with the loss and the loss of power, the loss of property, and everything that comes with tragic storms. But fortunately, even though we're going to the Eastern Caribbean, I don't think it's going to affect our vacation. So, yeah, Scott. Yes, it is the bottom of the barrel at some times. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. But yeah, so, but that sometimes happens, on over there in the hive of scum and villainy that is TikTok. But as I've said, despite the fact that Hal doesn't like it and doesn't think you should use it, there's a very important reason I think why I think some people should go over there and fight, because there's so much rabid anti-Semitism over there, and anti-Semitism needs to be fought wherever it is, because if it's not, then it's allowed to fester and grow. So I'll wade into the BS. I'll wade into it, and I'll go into there, and I will fight them tooth and nail. Now, granted, there are some other people who are Jewish people, my fellow Jewish people, who will also be bigoted, and I'm like, what are you doing? No, that's not how you do it. And I'll fight them too. But, so, Chad, I grow my own to help me make my mental vacations when I need it, plus the growing itself is super therapeutic. That's pretty neat, Chad. Unfortunately, you can't send that stuff through the mail because, hey, that would be a good way to support the show, too. Anyway, I don't want to get you in trouble or me in trouble for that matter, so I said nothing. So, anyway, let's talk a little bit about the topic of the show at hand. Simply because of the fact that, it is frightening that we have a situation where, I've seen plenty of circumstances where Joe Biden, after 7 p.m., because everyone's like, oh, his peak hours are certain hours. Joe Biden, at the correspondence dinner, sharp as a tack. Kicked ass. Smart, funny, witty, etc. Joe Biden at the State of the Union address, sharp, funny, witty, quick on his feet, baited the conservatives in Congress, got them, went off script 2 years in a row, even got them. Completely owned them. And we're going to sit here and we're going to look at one debate performance in a vacuum. And if you go back and you watch the debate performance, if you watched Hal's view or his review of the debate, it's not as bad as everyone was assuming it was. I mean, at first shot, you start off, Biden gets a slow start. And then, because he had the slow start, you kind of have this feeling. But once you go back into it and you watch the entire thing again, it's not as bad as it was. And then, of course, you get to laugh at the moment when Trump sharded himself. But if you haven't seen that, you need to see that. Hal posted a video of it. I went and looked, and then I felt that I needed to also post a video of it. So not just because I wanted to, duplicate what Hal was doing, but I just wanted to make sure that nobody could say Hal was making it up. I want to say, look, this is a legitimate video. He really did fart live on camera in front of the national audience. It was ridiculous. Say how I've been in 3 wars myself. Sure wish there was a better way to solve problems. Fighting is not a pretty solution. No, it's not. Dean Baker, I'll get the deep state to free Dan. Thank you, Dean Baker. Appreciate you. Did anyone see Michael Steele's take on the Supreme Court decision? I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I saw his. I mean, there's some ridiculousness in that Supreme. I mean, I think I've talked about it, and I took my biggest concern from the Supreme Court decision, and this is relevant to this topic of the show, and I posted that separately. I took that clip and posted it separately. Is the part of the Supreme Court decision that says that you can't look at conversations between a president and their staff for any reason to determine intent. Now, of course, I make the joke because that's what I do, because, gallows humor. Did they watch Legally Blonde? Elle Woods seems to know the law of the land better than the conservatives on the Supreme Court. How do you forbid people from determining whether or not there was mens rea? How do you prevent prosecutors from seeking to find out whether or not somebody had an intent to violate the law? But the Supreme Court literally made all communications between the president and his staff privileged. You can't get them under this ruling. None. You can't look at any of them. It doesn't matter what he said. So, and Republicans are out there, conservatives are out there, the pundits are out there, are saying, oh, it's still a crime to get SEAL Team 6 to go do X, Y, and Z because, it doesn't stop that from being a crime. Sure. It may be a crime for a president to get SEAL Team 6 to go yeet somebody, right? How do you prove the president did it? How do you prove the president did it if you can't go look at the presidential communications and say, oh, the president told the head of the military, the joint head of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The president said, hey, why don't you go get SEAL Team 6 to go deal with so-and-so and what's his face? The ugly one, and Tompkins. Forget that joke. I'm impressed. If you can't do that, then how are you gonna prosecute him for the crime? Even if you can say without a shadow of a doubt that it has nothing to do with his presidential duties. It's absurd. But that's what they want to do. That and Chevron, eliminating the regulatory state. You have the hearing on Capitol Hill where they were interviewing one of the people that were talking about the desire of Trump in the upcoming election to want to reclassify all civil servants under, I think, what it's called Schedule F, so that he could yeet anybody who's hired by the government to make sure that anybody working for the federal government is somebody who's aligned ideologically with President Trump if he becomes reelected. At which point, there's nothing in the administrative state that can stop him. There's nothing on the Supreme Court that'll stop him, because clearly the Supreme Court has his back. And if there's enough votes to elect Donald Trump president, there's no way you get a House to stop him, either the House or the Senate. There's no way. There is conversation by some of these pundits that were like, even if the presidency is a lost cause, you can still try and win the House. No. If Trump has enough votes to win the presidency, Trump is going to win the Republicans are going to win the House, and the Republicans are going to take back the Senate, and that's it. And then we're done. And then 2-3 years from now, whoever's left is going to be making gallows humor, but his stutter, but his debate performance. We cannot let this become another butthurt emails. We cannot let them control this narrative of what's going. Now look, there might be some wealthy people out there who might be questioning, who they're going to give money to. But Biden's donations went up. Michael Steele, I think last night on MSNBC, was talking about the net poll, the polling average that took place between like last week and this week. Biden lost 1 point on average. In the grand scheme of things, Biden lost 1 point. He was down like maybe 40, I don't know if it was 46, 43, and now it's 46, 42 or something like that. Whatever the numbers were. I can't speak for exactly what the numbers were, but he lost a point. So this whole big debate thing lost him 1 point. Big frickin' whoop. Yeah, there are going to be people who hate Biden, who are just going to use this as a reason to just jump on Biden, and that's to be expected. There are going to be people who are on the left, who are, I'm on the left. I'm a leftist. I'm a progressive left individual. I support many of the things that those other leftist type people support. I'm more pragmatic about it, but I still support the things. But those people are going to take this opportunity to be like, see, we shouldn't vote for all the things, and they're going to corrupt WTNC and all this other stuff. And they're going to use this as an opportunity to just pile on, not realizing that as they're piling on, they're helping to elect Trump. And then they'll be like, it's not our fault. Yes, it is. It is your fault. Because you're effectively campaigning for Trump. Because there's only two people who are going to win this election. There's only two people who will win any presidential election. And at any time in recent past, at any time in the near future, the Democratic nominee for president and the Republican nominee for president. And as right now, even though the conventions haven't happened, the Democratic nominee for president is going to be Joe Biden, and the Republican nominee for president is going to be Donald Trump. Nobody else can win. RFK can't win. Who else is running? Jill Stein can't. I don't know if Jill Stein is even running. She can't win. Cornel West can't win. Marianne Williamson can't win. I think she tossed her name in it's like, hey, I'll be your nominee. No, we don't want you. You're right on reparations, and that's about it. It's BS to think that anybody has a chance. Because go back and look at Ross Perot. The last most successful person who ran as a third-party candidate in this country was in the 90s. And it was Ross Perot, a billionaire who could afford to run his own campaign. And he got a total of 0 electoral college votes. He might have gotten 20 or 30% of the vote or whatever it was. He got 0 electoral college votes. He could not even get 1. Why? Because there's nobody down ballot. There's nobody supporting him. You don't have the infrastructure there to help push the messaging at the district level. It's always going to be a Democrat. It's always going to be a Republican unless you have a huge paradigm shift where one of those parties just goes away. It's one of the reasons probably why the Republican Party is so afraid to get rid of Trump. Because I guarantee you have a good chunk of people who are Republicans who are not the never Trumper types who have officially broken off and are like, you know what, I'm a Republican, and they're like, I'm a Republican and I'm voting for Biden. Like, you have those people who are like, we're done, whatever. But that's like, what, maybe 10%? Less than 10%? But the politicians, the people who are there who quietly are like, I really wish we could get rid of this guy. I really wish we could not have to deal with this guy. They know that if they got behind somebody else, a different horse, even if the horse was horrible, like an Abbott or something, they know that if they got behind that other horse, that they'd lose. Because Trump and all the MAGA folks would take their ball and they'd go home, they'd form another party by themselves, and they would have candidates that would run under Trump. You would have defections at the congressional level. You would have people who would run at the state, local, federal level. And the Republican Party would split, and it would almost guarantee a Democratic victory. So, Jeff Curry, there can be only one. Screw it. Let Biden and Trump sword fight. I've seen Trump's golf swing. He'll lose his head fast. There can be only one. The Highland. I am immortal. Yes, we're aware. I'm aware. I at least was aware, Jeff, that it was a Highlander reference. Inside me flows the blood of kings. Sorry. So let's scroll back and just check out the chats and see what's going on with the chat. I think I've missed some of the chat. I don't know if it just scrolled too much. Or maybe not. That's the beginning of the chat. It doesn't look like anything was shared specifically with that. We already saw that part already. So yeah, otherwise I need to be here to distract me from these family issues. Phil Stone over at, hey, what's going on, Phil Stone over at Twitch? I canceled my Chicago Tribune subscription after they said Trump was cavalier with the truth, but that Biden must drop out. Yeah, cavalier with the truth. Wow. That's a very fancy way of saying Trump lied a whole crap ton of times. I guess the over-under, I guess, at the next debate, if there is one, the over-under at the next debate should be whether or not Trump tells more lies than his felony convictions. Are there more lies or are there fewer lies than the total number of felony convictions that he has so far? That should be the measuring stick as to whether or not, what you bet on at least. To Chad, the issues aren't as bad as they seem for the people that pay a lot of attention. The problem is for the people that aren't politically involved, and seeing something like that debate made their mind up. I don't know, Chad. The issues are pretty bad. I mean, if you look at Project 2025, if you look at Agenda 47 or Project or issue whatever 47, there's three different things I found. There's Project 2025 from the Heritage Foundation. You have Project 47, which is something from former Trump staffers. Then you have Trump's Agenda 47, which is on his specific campaign website. And of course, here's the thing. On all these other, all these conservatives now are trying to say Trump doesn't support Project 2025. Trump supports his own Agenda 47. That's what he's supporting. It's Agenda 47, not Project 2025. Ignoring the fact that if you probably take the two and compare them, the intersection between them is probably just a circle, if not very close. I mean, Project 2025, brought to you by the Heritage Foundation. Trump Supreme Court picks, brought to you by the Heritage Foundation. I mean, these people want to just eliminate anything that resembles this current country. So Phil Stone, how many people even understand cavalier with the truth? Probably not. Half the people probably heard cavalier with the truth and probably was like, oh, they're saying he was honest. To Scott Fall, the prep sucked for the first 10 minutes. It had him scripted. It didn't work. Had him off night regardless. Yes. Dean Baker, SCOTUS made a king. Yes. Biden is fine and could work circles around people half his age. Yes. And Biden, I think, absolutely. I think the biggest problem with Biden that I had with Biden in the debate is that he tried to be soft-spoken Biden to the audience instead of being dark Brandon with Trump. Except for the one or two times where he went dark Brandon with Trump. I think Biden should have went a little dark Brandon. I think Biden should have went a little dark Brandon, little more dark Brandon, little less soft-spoken. I think he should have put it to Donald Trump and been like, I'm not taking your BS. Hey, CR, what's going on? I just saw your hey, Dan, so thank you for joining the chat. I'm making my way through the chat messages. Alarays, it's true. Most people won't be watching it twice. They'll be going with their first impression, which is probably one of the reasons why he should have gone dark Brandon from the get-go and gone more forceful. The thing is that, again, hindsight's 2020, but we can. That's why we need to stress that we cannot allow this to be another but her emails moment. We need to make sure that people understand that one sloppy, poor debate performance does not a campaign make, does not a person make, does not a human being make, does not a president make. One bad debate performance is just a bad debate performance. And we cannot allow the people who want to paint Biden as anything other than one of the best presidents we've had, as, we cannot allow them to control that narrative. We need to focus on Biden's accomplishments. We need to focus on all the good things that he's done, like why I constantly talk about the student loan issues, because he's done amazing things with the student loans, even after the Supreme Court has blocked some of his actions. And we also have to focus on the absolute fear that people should have of another Trump presidency, especially by looking at how these Supreme Court rulings will give him unlimited power, how they'll give him the ability to implement things like Project 2025, how it'll give him the ability to just raise havoc across the globe, and even just hand over the keys of the world, or most of it, to Putin to begin with. So they want Cheney's did you really mean to spell urinary? Oh yeah, where the president can pee on anything he wants without consequences. I guess he did really mean to say urinary instead of unary. Well said, Phil Stone. Well said. Dean Baker, there will be more October surprises than usual. Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, they're now calling their coup Revolutionary War 2.0, but they're trying to caveat it by saying it's going to be a bloodless revolution if the liberals allow it to be bloodless. As if it's the liberals weren't the ones who were storming the Capitol on 110. Now, I don't know how many of y'all are aware of the young podcast, or I don't know if he's a podcaster, but he's a blogger. He has TikTok, he has other video channels, he's on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, Harry Sisson. Young guy, very popular, riles up all the conservatives a whole bunch. Harry Sisson said the same thing that I did, where, except, he basically said the Supreme Court has now made it legal that Joe Biden could order SEAL Team 6 to go take out X, Y, and Z, including Trump or whatever. And one of Trump's advisors or whatever, or staffers, said something about expect a visit soon. Now, Harry Sisson was like, is he making a threat to me? I'm like, no, he's clearly trying to say that he's trying to imply that the FBI would come after you, but there's no reason that the FBI would come after you because you didn't say anything wrong. You were 100% correct. But these conservatives are now trying to say that he was threatening Trump and other elected Republican officials by suggesting that Biden could do something. And I'm sitting there like, no. Saying that somebody could do something is not the same thing as saying that somebody should do something. But now all these people, and they're like, you're calling for political violence against your opponent, your people you don't like, against elected officials, and that's wrong. These are the same people who are trying to call the J6 insurrectionists political prisoners. The people who are outside the Capitol shouting that they wanted to put Mike Pence up on the gallows. If it's wrong to call for the, execution of your political rivals, then why are you backing the J6 terrorists? Because hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. So says Nimbus Yosh, the host of the most with the smooth sounds of the Percy podcast, which hopefully at some point will come back. But yeah, these guys are so hypocritical they can't even see the ridiculousness of the arguments that they're making. But they want to attack this poor young lad who is just out there trying to support the president that he likes and making, valid political points about what this Supreme Court ruling literally does. Oh, you're attacking Joe. No, he wasn't. It's stupid. Let's keep on scrolling. CR, are you a liberal or are you a leftist? Well, I've explained this on the show before. I guess I can explain it again. I call myself Liberal Dan because Rebecca Pratt, a conservative talk show host, when I would call into the show, I would call in and she would be like, oh, look who it is. It's Liberal Dan. And hence I got the nickname. And people would be like, oh, you're Liberal Dan? And they'd be so excited. Because conservatives can't see the difference between liberals and leftists and progressives, etc. But I support things like universal basic income. I support Medicare for all. I consider myself more on the leftist side of the political spectrum. Of course, I would probably say the American political spectrum, because a lot of people would be like, even Bernie Sanders on the American left political spectrum, but like in other politics he's not. Like in the global politics he might be more towards the center. But yeah, I consider myself more of a pragmatic progressive is kind of the label that I use for myself. So let's keep on scrolling. Hey, Cynthia from Texas, good to see you. David in Grand Prairie, good to see you as well. So legal till more deregulation, now legal system, right? Adlo, you're crazy. They never stormed the Capitol. What? Yeah, they allowed the door. Anybody who opened the door for anybody of those Jan 6ers were in on it. If they allowed the doors open, then why were their windows broken? Maybe they decided to open the doors because they didn't want to have any more doors. They already had windows being broken and people climbing through the broken windows. And they're like, you know what? We don't want to have to replace any more broken windows and doors. So let's not incur any more costs when it comes to that. At least except for the one where, Ashley Babbitt tried to get through. The idea that they were not... That's jumping the shark there, Adlo. To believe that they were let in still, if you still believe that, that is a ridiculous thing to believe. Again, your argument is ridiculous. Your argument is ridiculous. To believe that, it's a ridiculous statement to make. Yeah. Dean Baker, exactly. They broke through doors that were not opened. They broke the glass in the window that Ashley Babbitt, terrorist Barbie, tried to climb through when she was offed. They were using police weapons to break through glass, to break through hockey sticks, whatever. It's absurd to think that these people, these were just peaceful protesters. No, they were not. Hey, Easy E Network, good to see you. The police that opened a barricade may very well have been in on it. There were police officers there that were supporting the whole thing. I think some police officers got fired. But again, if you have 10 doors and windows and that are coming, and these people are already storming through broken windows, maybe you'd be like, you know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and open these remaining doors so we don't have to have a bigger repair bill. And I think on a previous chat, Adlo said that they were not a he. So when I called Adlo a he, so I think, I don't know who's to say. Adlo, it's the people's house. It doesn't give you the right to barge in. Doesn't give you the right to interrupt the proceedings that were going on. Yeah, being a people's house doesn't mean you have the ability. Just because I own my house, it doesn't give me the right to set it on fire. That's my own house that I live in. It's called arson. Somebody else's, or the governmental house. That's the people's house. The idea that the House of Representatives is the people's house has been twisted by all the gerrymandering that goes on by the state governments that say, oh, we're gonna choose our voters. But that's a whole different story. What does the Bill of Rights say, Adlo? The Bill of Rights says what? What does the Bill of Rights say? See, David, any Oliver North type op, even inside the USA, is legal imperial prez until SCOTUS says otherwise. Pretty much. At this point, if the president says, president can order whatever at this point. Ronald Reagan could have told Ollie North to do whatever, and it would have been fine. It's fine at this point with the current Supreme Court ruling. Call-ins tonight? Probably not. I mean, I probably not, because I do have to do the packing stuff. So, yeah, it's our house, Trump-loving, not a group of Trump-loving thugs' house. Exactly. Just because it's the people's house, it doesn't give you the right to go steal laptops. It doesn't give you the right to damage the goods in there, because it's everybody. So if it's the people, if you want to make the argument that it's the people's house, it's collectively everybody's. So it doesn't give you. So if it's yours, it's also mine, and it's Aaron's, and it's Tim's, and it's Dean's, and it's Kevin Anderson's, and it's Chad's, and it doesn't give you the right to go break it without our consent. You don't have the right to make that decision for the rest of us. But tell me again how peaceful the people were who took the batons of the cops and bashed them over the heads, who took the shields and bash police officers over the heads. I guess blue lives don't matter if they're. I guess blue lives only matter when they're attacking black people. That's pretty much the argument that I've pretty much discerned from all the so-called blue lives matter folks, is that if that they only think blue lives matter as long as they're, you know, being accused of harming black people. If the blue lives are trying to stop people from raiding the house from Peace Circle, at that point they're like, oh, they're terrible people. Nothing matters but what matters to MAGA. Exactly. Anyway, but back to the topic at hand. We cannot allow this. We cannot allow this one performance in this debate to be the butter emails. Cannot. This is too important. We thought that before the immunity ruling, before the Chevron ruling, it was already vital that Donald Trump be defeated. It's already vital. Now, even more so. Immensely more so. Now is the time we double down on our efforts. Now is the time we double down on what we need to do to make sure that Trump gets absolutely destroyed at the voting booth. They wanted to storm Congress. Let's storm the voting booth. Storm the ballot boxes. Get out there, vote. Get everybody else you know to vote. Swarm the voting boxes. You should not need anybody to make you excited to vote. You should be getting out there and be excited and just voting because, you know, it's your duty to save this country. You have a duty to save this country. The only perfect storm that elected Trump in 2016 was the fact that you had 12% of Bernie voters in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania flipped and voted Trump. Had those people just stayed home or voted for Jill Stein, Hillary would have won. But for some reason, 12% of the people who thought Bernie was the best option for president went on to say, oh, well, if we're not going to have Bernie, then let's have Trump. Doesn't make sense. Not one bit. Ichabod Deer, Trump has a duty to duty. And he did it live on national television, on CNN and everyone else that was broadcasting it, when he made a big juicy fart. And even though there was a 2-minute tape delay, that wasn't censored out. Not one bit. So anyway, let's go ahead. We'll get back to some of the comments in the chat, but let's go ahead. I want to switch this up a smidge, and we are going to talk about this video. We'll set it up first. We'll switch to the alternate screen. Okay. We are not looking at there we go. We were dark for a second, but now we're no longer dark. Oop. Let's see. We want to pull this over here. There we go. That's nice. All right. So as we normally do, one of the ones that we usually respond to is the Whatever podcast. And with the Whatever podcast, you know, this is a small break from the Biden conversation, but I did want to talk about this particular one because this particular one is horrible. This particular one that I saw, I watched it all the way through, it's horrible because it started off being horrible and then it got even worse. Once I actually did research on this topic, it got even worse. Anyway, so welcome back to another unraveling toxic masculinity video here on Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right. And we have another example of the Whatever podcast with their toxicity. So without further ado, let's listen to what they have to say, shall we?
Soccer player Kaka's ex-wife says, Kaka never betrayed me. He treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. Andrew, your reaction?
Yeah, it's all but too common. So we see this happen over and over.
And this Andrew guy, we've talked about him before. Yeah, it's all but too common. We see it happen over and over and over again.
And over again, where we'll see these women, especially with high-profile men, say
women with high-profile men. Keep that word in mind. Women with high-profile men.
this kind of stuff, right? Oh, I just don't like him anymore. Conveniently enough, they also happen to not like him and walk off with millions of dollars of his money. So it makes me think maybe there's an ulterior motive behind it other than I just don't feel the spark. I mean, sure, he's rich and good and everything that I ever wanted, but walking away, I can basically now go hook up with whoever I want and have millions of dollars of his money. So
I don't know if you can
it seems
assume.
like a strong ulterior motive for it.
Soccer.
Yes, so according to him, she must be somebody who's just some gold digger who just wants to go hook up with whoever she wants to hook up with because she was a woman who saw this, rich guy, latched on to him. This guy was so perfect. All of a sudden, let's test his theory out, shall we? Carolyn Celico was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 1987. In 2002, while still in school, she met Kaka. They were in a relationship for 2 years, and when he went away to play for AC Milan. 2002, she met him. She's born in 1987. She met him when she was 15 years old. 15 years old. And then they started dating. And then they married in 2005. So they married at 18. She was 18. She was 18. How old was he? She was born in 1987. He was born in 1982. In April. He's 5 years older, so he was 20 when she was 15. He was an adult soccer player dating a 15-year-old. And this guy, Andrew, is going to sit here and try and tell us that here's some ulterior motive woman who is going to, who was just after his money. No. He's a rapist. That's disgusting. Now, she might have nice things to say about him, but that's gross. It's absolutely gross. Now, they had 2 children, a son and a daughter. They resided in Madrid with their children while he played in Real Madrid. In 2013, they moved back to Milan. They announced their divorce on social media in 2015. She got engaged in 2020 to her longtime boyfriend, Eduardo Giuliano. They got married in 2021 in Sao Paulo. So she wasn't going to go screw around with everybody. Because, look, at the beginning of the article, she is a formal evangelical pastor at the Reborn in Christ Church. So this guy, Andrew Schlub, who's on the Whatever podcast, wants to claim that this woman was just after his money and whatever, wants to go screw everybody around. She's an evangelical pastor. Now, not to say that all evangelical pastors are good people, but maybe he needed to do a little bit more research about this woman, because I'm going to assume that maybe he's a little misguided on this one here, especially with the fact that Kaka, which seems to be a fitting name, because what he did was crap, met her when she was 15 and he was 20. 5-year age difference. 5-year age difference if it was like 40 and 35. All right, no biggie. 5-year age difference when you're 20 and 15? Yeah, that's gross. And I'm not going to judge somebody for leaving a marriage when they got married right at 18. That's grooming. We call that grooming, ladies and gentlemen. But that's what these types of guys want from, these podcasts. The reason they want people like 18 to 20 is because they can't go younger, for the most part. I'm not going to say individually that those men on that podcast specifically want that, but generally speaking, the general thought is that if you want somebody who's an 18-year-old and that's what you're going for, the only reason you're stopping at 18 is because it's illegal to go younger here. Well, I guess he didn't get arrested for that over there. Who knows what the age of consent is over there? I don't know. I'm not even looking it up. Not even going to bother. It's still grooming. It's still gross. And it's still toxic. And that's why we have to continuously unravel toxic masculinity. Thoughts? Remember to leave your comments below. Like the video. Share it. Subscribe to the channel. And have a good day. So there we go. I just recorded another one live on the show. Yeah, pretty much. So he dumped on a Christian. He dumped on a Christian. An evangelical person. Yes, the person's name is Kaka. And the whole whatever podcast is full of Kaka. That whole whatever podcast is a whole steaming pile of caca. Let's see. Elizabeth Biden is fine, and the alternative is ending democracy as we know it. Exactly. Easy, that's a dumb reason to divorce a man. I mean, it may, but here's the thing. What did she know at 18? When she was groomed from 15? I think it's reasonable to divorce somebody if you started dating at 15 and you divorced and you got married at 18. Maybe you didn't really have the best opportunity to get to know the person. That's kind of my point. Yeah, easy. Yes, robbing that cradle. That's exactly what he did. He robbed the cradle. See, why did the right wing love to talk about Kaka, the Brazilian pro soccer player, the sick drama there of the dump and then kicked into the goals? Nice. Let's see. I need to moderate a chat fight between Deer and Bostic. I mean, my moderators can handle the moderation of the moderating between the two, but just make sure to as long as you keep it on the issues and not on the people. That's just what I'm reminding you. I would always remind people, keep it on the issues and not the person. Don't attack the person and you're fine. See, Pete saved over 200 people from the... I'm kind of miss what that might be. I don't know. Let's get ready to fumble. They are doing fine. See, I trust my mods. My mods are awesome. So, anyway, what time is it? Oh, it's just about 9 o'clock. So, anyway. So, again, just to wrap things up, Project 2025 or Agenda 47 or Project 47 or whatever you want to call it, those are the reasons why we can't allow us to get, and the Supreme Court ruling, and the elimination of Chevron, and, unlimited, immunity for official acts, but no ability to determine mens rea, to determine whether or not the discussion between the president and his underlings, if it is an official act or not. Those are reasons why we need to make sure that the presidency is in the hands of somebody who's not going to abuse the newfound power that the presidents have. I mean, even Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell didn't believe that the president had as much power and had as much immunity as the Supreme Court said that he did in that ruling on Monday. So it's terrible. Surrender Monkey, you're good. I mean, I appreciate any apology if you feel that you were acting poorly, but it is what it is. Sometimes anger gets the best of us, and we're good. You're good. Anyway, so again, just to remind everybody, since we got 31 viewers now, thank you for the good Mitch imitation. It's one of my better ones. It doesn't take. I did an even better one the other day, or not the other day, but like last year at some point. But that was because of an edible, and I got a full-on whiteout. What has Trump done that hasn't turned to an utter shit show? Trump has done. He did Stormy Daniels, and she's pretty awesome, but that's in spite of him. Sorry. There's an airplane and everybody had like moldy chicken on an airplane recently or something. I guess let's finish up the show with that. Like, there was the moldy chicken on the air. Have you ever heard that story where there was a Delta? It was a Delta flight or something. Maybe it was a Delta. I don't know. There was a flight and they served like, somebody's noticed that the chicken was like tasted like sour or whatever, and the chicken had like mold in it, and so a bunch of people got sick, and so then the airplane, a bunch of sick people, and they had to bring them to the hospital. The hospital? What is it? It's a big building with patients, but that's not important now. And as soon as I was about to make that comment watching the TV, they brought up the movie Airplane, so I just had to make the joke anyway. So, yes, Dean Baker, passions are running high in America. We are having that's why a lot of the times I try and joke around and bring humor to the podcast. It's why I like to joke, like bring random funny things into the podcast. Oh, wait, before we go, I can't even forget about this, because I do have a funny thing to say about this as well. Not about Amber Rose Petrovich, but about one of the things she talks about here. We do have another Your Money Minute from Amber Petrovich. Let's play this one real quick before, and we're going to talk about this for a few minutes before we get off. Not get off, but,
Welcome to Your Money Minute with Amber Petrovich. What is up with companies marketing the same old product as a new thing you need? My daughter wanted this lip sleeping mask from Sephora. A lip sleeping mask, otherwise known as lip balm, lip gloss, chapstick, scented petroleum jelly. Since inflation exploded a few years ago, companies have been reticent to lower prices. Why would they when keeping them inflated brings them more profit? Well, consumers are now starting to cut back on spending, so companies are finding new names and uses for existing products. As such, here is my money-saving tip for the day, or month. When it comes to toiletries and cosmetics, you really just need a few essentials. Beyond that, you are hitting a point of diminishing returns and buying into marketing BS that literally exists to scalp more profit from you. Think about how many things you own that you never even knew you needed until social or an ad told you about it. Do I need whole body deodorant? Is that even healthy? Do I need 12 makeup products and 10 brushes for my beauty routine? Just say no to upflation and save yourself some money.
And there you go. And one of the things, my 11-year-old, we were listening, like waiting for his bus to pick him up from school one day in the previous school year. And they started talking about one of these like whole body deodorants, and the person who made the whole body deodorant is in the commercial, and she starts talking about butt cracks. And he just like heard the word butt crack and just starts giggling over the idea that this person is mentioning butt crack constantly on his on the pod on the over the air. And then I think in the other thing I was like, can you say butt crack on the radio? Well, of course, everybody has a butt crack, and so they keep saying butt crack over and over and over again. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm kind of my inner 13-year-old is sitting there just kind of doing a Beavis and Butthead like, they said butt crack. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But you know, maybe if we were on Liberal Dan After Dark, I might get into maybe a more graphic concern over these things. But like, you know, I can't imagine that you know, like, take regular deodorant, right? I know regular deodorant has like certain things that, you know, people warn you about or whatever, but you put regular deodorant on your underarms, right? I can't imagine wanting to go up and burying my face in somebody's underarm that has just applied deodorant. So if you're using whole body deodorant, see what I'm saying? I can't imagine that's going to be good for certain activities, right? Do you agree? Do you see what I'm saying? I hope I don't have to get more graphic than that. It just doesn't seem to be something that would be conducive to a good experience for all. So, not necessarily talking about the butt crack either, but they talk about the full body deodorant, and you're supposed to put it all over. So, not internally. I think it's just external. I don't think it's internally. But there's other internal things that they do sell for market that you're not supposed to use either. Like certain feminine hygiene products that you're not supposed to use because they're bad for your internal biome or whatever. Not that I'm the best person to speak on such things, but as far as I know, Summer's Eve's type products that, you know, put things into your body that aren't the best things to put in your body are not good to use. So, unless a doctor tells you to do it, if a doctor tells you to do it, don't listen to me, but don't use it otherwise. So, Aaron West, under boobs and feet. Sure, but they suggest other places too in some of these commercials, and I'm not sure about that. Jojo, I understand being overweight and not liking smells, but these commercials kind of suggest that you put this stuff in the more sensitive of regions. Yeah, if you know, I would definitely put it, you know, on my feet or maybe on areas that have folds or crevices or whatever, but I wouldn't put it in the most sensitive of areas, that's for sure. Maybe it prevents pink eye. Good one. That's a good one. Hey Rose, how are you? You wanted to make a good an entrance before I went off the air. Just don't shove your claw in my nipple again, like you did on the Nerdy Dan, whatever. You're gonna curl up, or you're gonna just walk around? Magic kitty, yes. Glitching kitty, in and out of reality. There you go. Hey Rose. See, I'd put her closer to the camera so y'all could see, but she doesn't like to be held. She likes to be scratched. She doesn't like to be held. Ooh, you hear a monster? You hear something? You hear aliens? Have you brought your mommy any roaches today? She loves to bring roaches to bed. It's not fun. Nobody needs to see your butthole. Or your butt crack, either. So. Yes, it's my sweet little girl. Somewhat sweet little girl. Look at this little girl. My cat would have done backed up butt into the cam near my face. Just quite annoying on a video call. Keeps the good stuff for herself. Yeah, so anyway. But again, just as a reminder for everybody, again, my anniversary is the 7th. So wish me and my wife happy anniversary. 17 years. We will be we're going on a cruise. We're leaving on Sunday on the anniversary day. So if you we're not gonna, so there's no Nerdy Dan stream next week. There's no Liberal Dan stream. No Liberal Dan podcast next week. I'm going to try and make it up by doing some extra videos when I come back. We'll see. If you, more than happy to, accept anniversary gifts if you want. Venmo, buy me a drink on the cruise. No longer buy me. It's no longer buy me a cider. Buy me a nice rum and coke on the cruise if you want. Otherwise, but if you don't even need to do that. Oh, thank you, Chad, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you for that, as always. We should get the 777 chat thing. I know Hal does the 666 thing. We should get the 777 chat thing going since my anniversary is 77 I was married on 777, so. That's again, can't forget my anniversary because it's 777. But the if you want to watch other videos, I have the very special episodes playlist that has the living life as a Jewish person, living life as a fat person, or as a beast person. I forget what I called it. Those are two of my really better episodes. If you miss me, watch other videos, share the videos, get other people watching the show. Be great to see more subs when I come back in. Great to see more, keep the views up. Comment. I might share some short videos if I have the opportunity to do, if I get some comments. I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to see the sentencing when we're away. I was hoping to be able to come back on Monday and be able to talk about how Donald Trump got sentenced, but I guess we'll have to do that live in September at this point. So, I didn't know YouTubers were allowed holidays. Yeah, we get a day off every now and then. It happens. We get a couple days to enjoy ourselves. Oh wait, that's not the one I wanted to play. I wanted to play this one.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Your anniversary is 7/12, 7/7 and 12. Nice. So, my wife would kill me if I saw I got it wrong. Nice. Oh, my anniversary is July 12th. Oh, anniversary is July 7th, 12th. Hilarious. Don't forget to talk like a pirate. Arrgh, I can talk like a pirate right now, matey. I'll make you walk the plank. Anyway, I forgot to mention, I did add some new, not many people are watching on Twitch at the moment, but I did add some emojis on or emotes on Twitch as well. So, I mean, I'm not seeing them, but I don't know. Maybe they have to be approved yet, so maybe they're not live yet. But maybe by the next time they come around, hopefully we'll see. There'll be some of the new emotes that I put up on YouTube are going to be on Twitch. Anyway, not next week, but the week after. Thank you very much, and y'all have a good one. And again, remember, like videos, comment, share, Venmo, buy me a cider, super chats, super stickers, subscriptions, memberships, all that good stuff. And go check out the other channels as well. Dude's podcast, Hal's podcast. I mean, I don't need to tell y'all to watch Hal, but plenty of other good stuff out there to watch while I'm gone. Just don't go away too long because I'll miss you. And we'll be back on the 15th of July. Same bad time, same bad channel. Look forward to seeing you then. Maybe I'll be a little tanner. Who knows? Have a good one. Peace.